Hey guys, Sundown Rider here. This is going to be my chapter review to, My Hero Academia One Piece 981, joining the fight. Now this was a spicy chapter. What was new? What did we learn? Let's get right down to it. Firstly, Apu is resilient as hell. I thought he got decked by Kid at the end of last chapter. Someone who he wasn't expecting to show up, and although he is injured quite a bit, he's bleeding from his nose, from his mouth, his head, he still has enough in him to continue fighting and even damage Kid with his he smashes his head like kind of hi-hats hitting each other and slices Kid across the chest, much like the same attack he did against Zoro. So I thought that was pretty impressive. Apu, he took that shot. He's still able to think. He's still able to move. He's doing pretty well for himself. So much respect to Apu, even though I don't like him as a character. I don't like him as a person. Because of the next point, Apu reveals how much of a chicken shit he is by revealing his thoughts on an alliance to beat one of the emperors. He says he's never had faith in an alliance to begin with, and thinks toppling the Yonko is something impossible, not an achievable dream. But then again, he was already an informant for Kaido by that point, so he was probably never going to turn on Kaido fully anyway, for fear of failure. He's not really cut from the same cloth as I think Luffy, Kid, Zoro, Killer are. He's not that same guy, he's not that ambitious character. We'll get to that, but Apu actually damages Kid in this chapter, like I said, with the same attack he landed on Zoro. Kid shrugs it off, which was, once again, that was kind of cool. And he calls Apu trash. He's like, "Oh, you're garbage," while, just smiling at him, smiling through that attack. And I was like, oh, Kid, like, Zoro was actually hurt. Zoro was like, "Oh, this is not a good place to be. I don't know what the hell's happening." Kid just smiled at it like, "Yeah, I don't. This is nothing. I'm a clap this guy." But then obviously Kid is called away by Killer. He's like, "Hey, we gotta get out. Let's go and do what we actually came here to do, rather than focusing on Apu." But I thought it was really badass that Kid shrugged it off like that, and it leads me to my next point. Actually, I don't think there's any retribution for Apu, man. I mean, unless he does something truly amazing and worthy of the title of the worst generation, he's too much of a slippery, slimy, smarmy, treacherous person to get on with Luffy and the others. Worse than that, his ideals are different. He doesn't have that ambition, like I was referring to earlier, that freedom of thinking to imagine a world without the Yonko that are before him right now. In short, for me, he's kind of a coward. He's sitting behind this impenetrable wall, which is Kaido, and he's just like, "Yeah, I kind of like it here. I like the fact that I can just get higher, that I can kind of climb the ladder within Kaido's crew, but not really have to prove myself outside of that." He doesn't really have to prove himself to anyone else, and he seems to really enjoy that. And I think it's more of cowardice. He likes being in this enclosed environment, in his own bubble, not really focusing on anybody else. And I want to know what he did. What happened to the rest of his crew? Are they there? Did he sell them out? Where are Apu's crew? And is this just a guise for him to kind of sneak up behind Kaido and be like, "Surprise, mother cheddar," and shoot him in the ass? That would be really cool and worthy of that title of worst generation. But at the moment, what I've seen of Apu is he's strong, he's resilient, but I don't like him. I do not like him. Next, we finally meet one of the highly anticipated Numbers. And I'm not gonna lie, I was actually really, really disappointed by the design of this number. It's a dude called Hacha. We get this nice box with like horns coming out of it. It says Numbers Hacha, and that's his laugh as well. And I think Hachi is also the number 8, so he might be the 8th one, the 8th from the most powerful, the 8th in terms of when he was born, the 8th in terms of when he was produced. We don't know if Vegapunk made him or something like that. We don't know. All we know is he's very big. He's a giant of some sort, and he's drunk and everything. But like I said, he just looks like a normal giant carrying a spiked club. He's wearing some sort of hat, I think it was. I can't quite remember now. Let me actually go check that. No, he's wearing these kind of almost Doflamingo-ish kind of sunglasses. Not really the same shape, and he's got this Ochako. He's got the Ochako hairstyle from My Hero Academia. He's got Uraraka's hairstyle, and he just does not look very threatening at all. I mean, Kid does realize that this dude is absolutely humongous, but besides that, he doesn't really strike me as anything cool. His design isn't new. I thought he was going to be some giant Oni thing. They eat kids, all that type of stuff. I thought it would have been some demonic looking thing, some really crazy looking thing, but it's really not. And like I said, Kid actually says he looks larger than a normal giant, but from the perspective that we get this chapter, I can't verify that he's anywhere near as large as Dorian, Broggy, or even Hyrule. He doesn't look that large at all, but for some reason Kid's like, oh, this guy must be, he's larger than a normal giant. I was like, I don't think so. But I was actually really disappointed by his design. I thought the numbers would have been cooler. As I suspected in the last chapter, if you hear Apu's attacks, there's no avoiding getting hit by them. So that's something I think people were kind of linking and, one and one. It wasn't a difficult conclusion to draw. What I didn't expect was the glaring weakness his fruit has, which is if you cover your ears, he can't attack you. If you cover your ears and you can't hear Apu's music or Apu's devil fruit, he can't attack you. Now, obviously, in a 1v1 fight, that would make things incredibly difficult, seeing as you'd have to constantly shield your ears from sound produced by Apu. Also, we can safely assume that this isn't Apu's full power by quite a stretch, so maybe he has ways of getting around that. Maybe if the sound is a higher frequency, you can hear them even if you're covering your ears. And the other thing is, if he's closer to you, chances are, even if you're covering your ears, the sound should still penetrate through your hands into your ears. So maybe there are ways around this, but for now, if you're at a reasonable distance to Apu and you cover your ears, his devil fruit has no effect. So maybe it's more of a distance thing. And while we're here, I loved the antics between Zoro, Luffy, Kid. Killer has already had enough of these guys, and they've barely spent any time together. So I really want to see that develop. I want to see them actually try to team up a little bit. It would be really interesting, and it's just been funny so far. So the next thing, we learn why Killer actually ate a smile fruit. This part was really cool for me, and I'm hoping this gets fleshed out a little bit more. We get a little bit deeper on this later on, because I want this to be someone's motivation. I want this to be Kid's reasoning or Killer's reasoning to absolutely kick the shit out of someone responsible. So I'm really hoping this drives the motivation for Killer and Kid later on. But Killer ate the smile fruit because Orochi promised to give him a chance to save Kid if he did so. Now, we don't know whether Orochi honored that promise or not. We don't know if for instance, he could have given Killer a chance to save Kid via defeating someone powerful, which Killer was able to do. So I'll eat this devil fruit and I'll give you a chance. That chance could have been, or eat the smile fruit, sorry, and I'll give you a chance. And then that chance could have been, okay, go fight Queen. And then he got his ass kicked by Queen and he was thrown by the wayside. Or what's more likely is that Killer ate the fruit, the smile affected him the way it did, and he was then thrown by the wayside anyway by Orochi without honoring that chance of allowing him to free Kid. So I think it's more likely that Orochi did that, knowing how Orochi is, the kind of slimy character he is. But I'm hoping we get more on that motivation later on. We then go to Who's Who. He scans what's happening in this party, this golden Kagura, or was it Yagura? I can't quite remember what it was. But he tells his crew to focus on finding Yamato. I really, really, really hope we get a solid backstory on whoever Who's Who wants to kill. Because he's talking about Queen saying he wants to kill someone in this chapter. One of the Tobiropo, which I think, I'm not sure who Queen's referring to, but I'm not sure who Who's referring to as well. He's like, I also want to kill someone. But he makes it sound like it's Queen, but also not like it's Queen, so we can't really be sure. I want to know why he has so much beef. Why does Who's Who have so much beef? And it's the same with the other Tobiropo, the people like Sasaki. They all have their own reasons for being part of Kaido's crew. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch for me. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that some of them would actually betray Kaido if they were given the chance. And the other thing here that I forgot to put in my notes, all of Who's crew are cats. They're feline of some sort. They're a feline of some sort. They have very feline features, whether that be the ears, the whiskers. We see two ladies. One of them is actually holding a katana. I think that katana is Who's katana. And they're all feline. So then the next kind of conclusion we can draw from that is maybe Who's fruit is actually a feline Zoan of some sort. So an ancient Zoan, so something prehistoric, but feline. So what would that be? That sounds almost Sabertooth-ish. I'm not quite sure. A lot of people have been really, really hoping for that, a Sabertooth Zoan type. But I'm not sure. It sounds like it could be something feline-ish. I'm not sure if there were any dinosaurs or anything. Someone mentioned Smilodon. I'm not quite sure what that is. I'm pretty sure if I searched it up, it would be something feline in nature. But it looks like he could be a Sabertooth type character, which would be awesome. Moving on. A plot point which we're told about this chapter. Big Mom received some sort of call or some sort of news telling her that her ship and her crew are fine. However, when she's told that there are no ships at the appointed harbour or at the appointed port, where Big Mom's crew is supposed to sneak into Wano. She seems confused by this. So what that suggests and what that pretty plainly tells us is Big Mom doesn't know about this harbor. She doesn't know about this secret port, and neither do her crew. She hasn't informed them. Nobody else has informed them. So this miscommunication will actually lead, I think, to the very late arrival of Big Mom's crew, as we see later in the chapter, which is that's going to be a big plot point moving forward. If they don't arrive on time, it's going to be just Kaido and Kaido's crew and his boys, the Tobiropo. We're going to see the Orochi and the samurai. There's going to be very few people to deal with some very high quality pirates in Kid, Law, Luffy. Next, we learned that Kinemon and his samurai have altered their plans a little bit. So they've been going towards the backside of Onigashima, but as they go towards it via the eastern route, so they're going along the eastern side of Onigashima to the back, they've decided that they're going to break away into two groups. One group is going to continue on their original path around the back of Onigashima, while the other goes straight west to the middle of Onigashima, to the dome of the skull of Onigashima. And they're going to kind of pincer in on Kaido. So one coming from the back, one coming from the center forwards, or upwards. And they're going to pincer in on Kaido and Orochi's forces. Now, something that kind of reminded me of something here is they only mention Kaido and Orochi's forces here, and I forget whether they're actually aware of the fact that Big Mom and supposedly her crew, but we found out this chapter not really so much, but are they aware that Big Mom is actually there chilling with Kaido and to have this alliance? I don't think they're actually fully aware of that yet, so they're going to shit their pants when they actually find out, which they kind of do at the end of this chapter. But as the samurai, well, not even at the end, in this part of the chapter, as the samurai kind of prepare for this, they hit a part of Kaido's mansion which wasn't on their maps. They're confused by this. What the hell is this place? They find a bridge surrounded by wisteria, kind of very Kimetsu no Yaiba type vibes over here, with a pleasure hall or a brothel right besides this bridge that they're looking towards. And we were told that this is the domain of Black Maria, who's one of the Tobiropo, and she seemingly runs this kind of red light district on Onigashima. And what I wanted to know here is Black Maria, is she some sort of oiran? Is she some sort of courtesan that runs the other prostitutes within this district? Is she kind of the manager of all of this? She dishes out prostitutes to whoever needs them in the crew or something like that? Or maybe that's how she makes her business with other crews? I don't know. I have zero idea what purpose this would kind of meet. What value is she actually providing? Is it to the rest of her crew? Is she an actual prostitute? Is she an oiran? Her getup when we first saw her was very kind of, her kimono was off the shoulder, not very ladylike in regards in the standards of Wano, which is kind of classical Japan. She didn't really suit that ladylike high up lady kind of vibe. She was very kind of, the only way to put it is very, very lax. So I kind of got that vibe from her, but I would never have thought that she would have been the actual leader or the owner of what's basically a brothel. So that's good to know. I want to see if that actually develops into something. Oda doesn't usually throw details in like that have no actual value, that mean nothing. So hopefully that has more of an effect going forward. But we see Sanji go into this brothel and then leave in absolute depression. I don't think this is the type of depression Sanji would show if there were simply no prostitutes in there, which is what the case was. I think he probably saw a naked big mom changing into a kimono, which I think a lot of us would be we would have that same expression, to say the least. Speaking of Big Mom, she opens a window to see why there's so much noise going across this bridge, spotting Chopper in his tank. And Chopper's reaction was insane. It was just hilarious. He's just there like, holy shit, it's Big Mom. And I was like, oh my god, I wonder what's going to happen here, because Usopp is also in the tank. How will Big Mom react to this? I think Nami is not in the tank. What's her name? Carrot is not in the tank. They've kind of left. Possibly I think they may be with Sanji, but the issue here is, will Big Mom recognize Chopper, or will she just think he's another member of the Beast Pirates going to possibly apprehend Luffy and company? So she's just going to be like, oh, okay, cool, and then shut the window. I don't think it's going to go like that, but the way that the end of this chapter was, this could go any way with the Big Mom Pirates. You never really know. We then see Big Mom's crew with Smoothie, Perospero, Daifuku, and all of these guys, I think even Flampe, they're all coming back up this waterfall to go back to Wano. And they make mention of this being the only way into Wano, once again reaffirming that they've no idea of this secret port that they should be heading towards. This part was hype. They get to the top of this waterfall, only to get knocked back down by the freaking Phoenix. Mako the Phoenix just pops up out of nowhere. Now he just pops up, hits them with a Phoenix mark or Phoenix brand, depending on which translation you read. The official one is Phoenix brand, and he knocks them back down the mountain, back from where they came. And I was like, holy! I had absolutely no idea that Mako was going to turn up so soon. I had no idea that he's going to turn up. Well, there were convincing ideas that Mako would have to turn up eventually, but I had no idea it would be so soon. I've been staying away from spoilers of any kind. I haven't been spoiled in a while, so that was awesome. And I just did not expect Mako to turn up, and he turns up in awesome fashion. He's wearing his glasses. He's looking casual as hell. The fact that he just casually flies into the story and gives us an epic foreshadowing, like the next time you guys get up the waterfall, we're going to possibly be looking at a different age. I was like, oh, Mako. Okay, so it wasn't really an apeshit moment for me, but it was quite close to that. I was taken aback, very surprised that Mako was there. I went back in my chair like, whoa, I did not expect this guy to pop up so soon. But not only did we get Mako, we see Big Mom's crew and their ship fall. We catch a glimpse of Nekomamushi and freaking Izo. We see Izo as well. So two people who haven't been back to Wano in a very long time, especially Izo, who originates from there, and with Kanjuro now betraying the Red Scabbards, we have Izo coming back to Wano. I think this kind of all comes full circle. Izo knows. Izo is aware of who Kanjuro is. He's been with Kanjuro. He's seen Kanjuro. He knows who Kinemon and the rest are. Izo can see all of these guys for the first time in ages, be like, where's Kanjuro? Really begin to let that rage boil up inside of him. This guy being the betrayer. This guy's the reason why Oden died. And I can't wait to see what Izo can do. That's all I've got. Especially if he teams up with Kikunojo, who's his younger brother / sister. I can't wait to see what's going to happen between those two. It's going to be amazing. Especially because Izo we haven't seen him use swords, I don't think. I think he's got twin pistols, right? He goes akimbo. So I want to see exactly what he can do. It's going to be awesome. This is how the war is building up. We've got previous members of a former Yonko's crew in Whitebeard. So Izo, we've got what's his face, Mako. We've got Inuarashi, Nekomamushi. We've got two current Yonko here with Kaido and Big Mom, one without her crew because they fell back down the waterfall. We've got the samurai beneath Orochi. We've got the samurai beneath Kinemon. We've got Luffy, Kid, Law, Hawkins, Apu on the same damn island. Actually, I'm not sure if Hawkins is actually there. He should technically be there. But this is going to be insane. This is absolutely insane. We've got the Red Scabbards as well. This is going to be beautiful. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I can't wait to find out how this is going to go. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys in a bit.